What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck tech video. I promise you, I have a list of viewer requests that I will be getting done probably over the weekend, but I wanted to do a few more Ninja Turtles deck techs before we get back into the viewer requests and normal rotation. But without further ado, who do we have today? We have ourselves Super Shredder. Now, as I said in my other Ninja Turtle sets, I am of the age where I should remember who this is, but I stopped watching Turtles pretty early on when I was a kid, and I don't know what Super Shredder is, to be honest with you. I was born in '89, so I like peak Turtles era, but I guess I just missed the boat on that one. But who is he in game? He's a 1/1 for 1 generic and 1 black. He has Menace, and whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Super Shredder. Yes, you heard that right. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield. So that means if your opponent blinks something, if they use a fetch land, if you do something, if anything leaving the battlefield that is a permanent, Super Shredder gets big. And you know, I asked my friend Dewey, who plays Legacy, if this is fast enough for Legacy, and he doesn't seem to think so, but we will see if anybody tries it. Also, maybe could find a home in, like, Modern, or maybe Standard if the removal's good enough. You guys will have to let me know. It's been a while since I've played Modern or Standard, so let me know that. But what we're going to try to do today in this mono black deck is we're going to try to kill all of the things, all of the time, and make our Shredder real big and real scary. So how are we going to do that? Well, we do have one Planeswalker. I don't run a lot of Planeswalkers in my builds that I do for deck techs, but I am running Liliana the Dreadhorde General. She's a 6 loyalty for 4 generic and double black. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card, and you can pay +1 to make a zombie. You can -4 her to have each players sacrifice 2 creatures of their choice, so that would grow Shredder by a whole bunch. And then -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. If you can get to 9 with this, you win the game. It just literally says each opponent loses the game. But yeah. Creatures. We're going to run a whole bunch of effects that sacrifice. So you're going to see a Cursed Marauder, Demon's Disciple, right? Fleshbag Marauder, and Plague Crafter in here. They are all... Oh, and also... I think there's one more. Yeah, Merciless Executioner. So when they enter the battlefield, each player sacks a non-token creature. So they'll sacrifice themselves. And this one also is creature or planeswalker, but they all basically do the same thing. Sack a creature, planeswalker, non-token creature, etc. You're going to sacrifice your own, they're going to sacrifice one of theirs, and that will net you, if everybody has a creature out there and you have Shredder, because he is a 2-drop, that will net you a whole whopping like 4 cards into the graveyard, leaving play, which leaves you with a whole bunch of bonus off that. We have Archfiend of Depravity in here, which is at the beginning of each opponent's end step. That player chooses up to 2 creatures they control and then sacrifices the rest. This really, really punishes go-wide decks. I did not know that this card existed until I looked for creatures that cause sacrifice. It looks like it came from the Chocobo set. Maybe it's in one of the precons. Unsure. Let me know in the comments down below for Final Fantasy. This card is pretty good, so we threw it in here. We have Ayara, First of Locthwain, which is a 2/3 for triple black, and whenever Arya, First of Locthwain, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And then you can sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. Well, we can make tokens and things like that, and some of our creatures are kind of useless once they hit the battlefield, so sacrifice those and draw yourself a card. We have Braids, Arisen Nightmare. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you get to draw a card. So either they're going to grow Shredder or they're going to grow your hand and lose some life. Also, heads up, regular Braids could easily go in this deck. When I do my brews here, unless I very specifically am trying to make a very, very high power deck, I leave Game Changers out. You can put regular Braids in, though. Carrion Feeder, it can't block, and you can sacrifice a creature to put a 1/1 counter on Carrion Feeder. We have Endrixar, Master Breeder. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create X/1/1 black Thrall creature tokens, where X is that spell's mana value. And whenever you control 7 or more Thralls, sacrifice Endrixar, Master Breeder. What you want to do is just have your sack outlets out there, like your Carrion Feeder, and we have a few others later in the list. Sacrifice them, and or you can use Arya to gain value, so that way your Endrixar doesn't die. Just like stack up Thralls, sack them, stack up Thralls, sack them. We have Gary in here. He's generic value, right? He's $1.99. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and where X is the devotion to black, and then you gain life equal to life lost this way. So that's pretty sick, right? Let's say you have 10 pips out there. Each opponent loses 10 life. You will gain 30 life. We got Massacre Girl. When she enters the battlefield, each creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. We have Morbid Opportunist. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. It triggers only once each turn. Big sad there for once per turn, but I guess it'd be busted if it was more than that. 9 Lives Familiar. This creature enters with 8 revival counters on it if you cast it. When this creature dies, if it had a revival counter on it, return it to the battlefield with 1 fewer revival counter on it than at the beginning of the next end step. I, again, did not know that this card existed. I was looking through for sack outlets on Scryfall, and this is a pretty fun one from Jumpstart. We have Ophiomancer. Puts a snack into play at the beginning of your upkeep, or at the beginning of each upkeep. If you have no snack, it puts a snack into play. Use your sack outlets, grow your shredder, etc. Phyrexian Obliterator, an absolute classic. He has Trample, and whenever a source would deal damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. So if they're not going to block the 5/5 that is going to be chunking them every turn, they're going to lose up to 5 permanents. It also has Trample, so anything below that 5, they're just losing permanents and still losing life. We got Pitiless Plunderer, which is whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Notice this does not say once per turn. So all those thralls and other things that you sacrifice, those will net you treasures. Then we have ourselves... we already went through Plague Crafter. We have Rankle. Flying Haste, and when he deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card, or each player sacks a creature. You're going to have plenty of stuff to be able to sacrifice, so probably choose that one, and honestly, 1 life and draw a card's pretty fine already. Then we have ourselves Shark Shredder, who I'm going to make a deck tech about too, because he's also pretty fun and interesting. Killer Clone. He's a Sharktopus ninja. He has Sneak, so if if something's not blocked, you can put him in tapped and attacking. It's ninjutsu for turtles. And First Strike. And whenever Shark Shredder deals combat damage to a player, put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It enters tapped and attacking that player. That is a very good ability. A little bit of graveyard theft, especially since we're going to be killing a lot of people's stuff. Bringing their stuff back as our stuff sounds just fine to me. Solemn Simulacrum. Sad Robot. You're going to get him to get a swamp out there, and then you're going to sack him to get a card. Splinter, the Mentor, is Menace. He's a 2/2, and when Splinter or another non-token creature you control leaves the battlefield, create a mutagen token. Seems pretty simple, right? Warren Soul Trader is pay 1 life, sack another creature, create a treasure. You can do that with your tokens to generate tons of mana. Zulaport Cutthroat. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. We have ourselves Blasphemous Edict. Makes everybody sack 13 creatures. We have Damnation. This is actually really cool art on this. I know Spider-Man set bad, but I actually do like the Venom art on this. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. We have Feed the Swarm. We have Innocent Blood for sacking creatures. See, Feed the Swarm destroys creature enchantment. This makes it so each player sacks a creature. Mire and Misery. Each opponent sacks a creature or enchantment. Night's Whisper, you draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Smallpox, each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacks a creature, and sacks a land. Toxic Deluge will kill a whole bunch of stuff. Instance, we have Corrupted Conviction, which is, as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, so sacrifice one of your thralls, obviously. Sorry, I'm still getting over a cold here. We have Darkness, which is mono black fog. I need to pick up this copy of it because I actually do like the art on this. Most of the times I don't like art like this, but I do like this one. We have Deadly Dispute. Sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Draw 2 cards, create a treasure. We have Defile. Target creature gets -1/-1 for each swamp you control until end of turn. We have Flare of Malice. You may sacrifice a non-token black creature rather than pay its mana cost. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures they control. Go for the Throat's removal. Sorry about that quick pause, friends. My wife and daughter had come down and say hi to me before they laid down for a nap. We have Go for the Throat, destroy target non-artifact creature. Infernal Grasp, destroys a creature. Murder. You get the hint here. We have a ton of removal. Murder, Saw in Half, Shieldred's Edict, Soul Shatter, Tragic Slip. Village Rites draws you some cards, so there's that. Vona's Hunger, Ascend, so if you have the City's Blessing, which is 10 or more permanents, each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you have the City's Blessing instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures he or she controls, rounded up. And then Withering Torment, destroy target creature enchantment, you lose 2 life. Artifacts, we do have Crucible of Worlds, we have Jet Medallion, Mithril Coat. I accidentally put 2 Whispering Cloaks in here. That's big dumb of me. Mithril Coat, Soul Ring, Swift of Boots, Vorak Battlehorns, Whisper So Cloak. The reason that happens, by the way, sometimes, is when I'm building these and I'm typing in and I'm clicking to add, Moxfield doesn't update right away. It's just a bug that I've noticed lately, and so there's that. But it's okay. We will just add ourselves in an Overkill, because I like that spell. Ta-da! We added Overkill in. For those who don't know, Overkill gives a creature -0, -9,999 until end of turn. Alright. Oh, yes. This Vorak Battlehorns makes it so a creature can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. You put this on your Menace Shredder, and he's just going to get free damage in. Enchantments, we have Black Market. Whenever a creature dies, put a counter on Black Market. Then you get black mana for each one of it. Eternal Thirst. Enchant a creature as lifelink, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Put it on Shredder. We have Grave Pact. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other opponent sacks a creature. Yeah, this is kind of a Staxy deck. We have Meathook Massacre 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Meathook Massacre the original in here. We have Obsessive Pursuit. Whenever this enchantment enters and at the beginning of your upkeep, lose a life, create a clue. Whenever you attack, put X 1/1 counters on target attacking creature, where X is the number of permanents you sacrifice this turn. If X is 3 or greater, that creature gains lifelink till end of turn. Revel in Riches. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure token. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. This actually is pretty easy. And then we, like I said, have Meathook Massacre. For our lands, you're going to notice I'm only running 20 swamps in a monocolored deck, and that is because fetch lands, friends. We have all of the destroy non-basic stuff in here. So we have Volatile Vault, where is it? Demolition Field, Field of Ruin, those sort of things, right? But we're also running a ton of fetches. Evolving Wilds, Fabled Passage, Fountain Port, Obscura. See those. And we also have Sacrifice with Cesar to be able to draw lots of cards. Yeah. And these fetches you can always get back with your Crucible of Worlds. So you should be able to always be fixing your mana base. But let me know what you think of the deck in the comments down below. I know this one's running at about $500, so a little bit pricier. But you can always make this thing super cheap because removal's super cheap. You don't have to run Crucible and some of the other expensive cards. But as always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.